Today I'm going to be covering Ready at Dawn's Tron-inspired shit fight, Echo Arena. This will be a quick one following the beta weekend, but will give you a good idea of what to expect from the full multiplayer game. So clear some space, unless you hate everything you own, crush that like button, enjoy, and I hope it helps.
What is currently happening YouTube? Facepalm here, your friend in Oz and NZ, bringing you reviews, tutorials and game clips, minus the shit. You can follow me on Twitter at Facepalm with a 1, not an L. As for here on YouTube, if you like what you find, then like, comment and subscribe. Don't forget to bring your game face. Let's get it done.
So the beta was live this weekend and gave Oculus owners a chance to try out this upcoming zero-G competitive VR esports game for free, though the full release of this online multiplayer will be free also. Just keep in mind that the full single-player story-focused space action game Lone Echo, which is the big brother to this game, won't be free. But going from Echo Arena alone, it's looking to be worth it already. The first thing I want to say about this game is clear some space. Seriously, you'll be turning a lot, losing your orientation in the room, and swinging your arms at pace and at unnatural angles in order to whip the opposing team into shape. As a further precaution, I would 100% recommend you shrink your Guardian boundaries as well. And if you think I'm exaggerating, then have a look in the Oculus subreddit and check the pics of smashed touch controllers and cut hands. I also gave it a good crack and ended up blindly punching this guy while in game. Straight up, it's like that ceiling fan epidemic from last year all over again. The first thing I did was the movement tutorial, and the first thing I noticed in game was the exceptional graphical quality of the hands and how insanely well they tracked. And I can honestly say that this game is streaks ahead of anything else I've seen in VR in regards to physical presence alone. Movement was courtesy of unlimited wrist thrusters that propelled me in whatever direction my hands were pointing. There was a boost button that gave me a temporary speed boost. I could block and punch, which turned out to be a way to stun my opponents temporarily. I could grip and release the discs, and also grab and push off from any in-game surface to maneuver through the arena. It was all a little awkward at first, but that turned out to be just because it was an in-game movement I had never used before. Once I got used to it though, which only took a few rounds, the movement was really intuitive, and I'd go so far as to say revolutionary. It worked better than good, it worked naturally. After the tutorial, I was dropped into a pre-game environment where I wasn't just staring at a list of names waiting for the game to start, like you would traditionally see in something like Call of Duty. I was in a big chamber with the other players floating around and interacting. I could customize my avatar, organize a game plan, and shit-talk the other team all I liked. Not that I did that, but that is something that you could do if that's your thing. And it was really easy to find an online lobby to join, which, given this was Rift only, was surprising, because with other Oculus only multiplayers like Dead and Buried, I struggle to find a game most of the time. And once everyone signed on, it was game time. In-game, I started in a pre-round area with myself and my other teammates making their way out of their pods before heading into one of the mini launch tubes. I could see this being a great place for a brief 15-second strategy talk and space for play calibration. And given this game is aimed at esports, I thought this was a really smart foresight from the developers. I then headed into a launch tube, awaited the countdown to hit 1, and was fired out into the arena at speed with my teammates beside me and the other team heading right for us, and the disc in the middle of the arena. And then shit was on like Donkey Kong. All the small talk from the pre-game lobby turned to dust. As team versus team, we turned on each other like the world was watching. The environment was very Tron-like and suited the gameplay perfectly. The instant sense of immersion took over, the scoreboard mattered, the goal had to be protected like a younger sister from a shady neighbor, and it was all out twisting and turning in what is hands down the best multiplayer VR experience I've had. The arena felt like the perfect size and scale, and I quickly forgot I was standing in my room, flailing my arms about mere millimeters away from some of my favorite possessions. But I didn't care. I cared about winning. I can be somewhat competitive sometimes, but this game really brought it out. In a good sportsmanship kind of way though, as I'd like to think I'm not a complete fuckwit all of the time. My Rift's cable got tangled quickly as the snap turn feature, while ideal for preventing cable tangle, wasn't responsive enough to maneuver at speed and grab the disc when it changed trajectory after bouncing off anything that wasn't a player's hand. What a load of futuristically stylized mayhem in zero gravity. The only thing that lagged behind in terms of quality was the sound, but that's purely because everything else was such high caliber. The sound was actually good and certainly fitted and added to the competitive atmosphere, so it's definitely not a complaint. But if I were to compare it to something like Robo Recall, I'd say it wasn't quite there. Also, even though I have decent VR legs, I did get a little motion sickness in really hectic situations. But considering the sheer amount of unnatural movement I did in game, I can't believe how little sickness I actually felt, which I credited to the type of movement this game uses. Very well done. A word of warning though, for those of you prone to motion sickness, I'd say you probably will struggle with this a little to start with. All in all, for a straight up competitive multiplayer game at this stage of VR, I'd have to give Echo Arena a 9 out of 10. Own or go home. The action is fast paced, the visuals are next level, the pre-game lobbies and the gameplay itself are all on par with each other in this high quality, disc chucking 0G race to the middle, and I can't wait to get back in when the full game is released. Though I'm definitely going to need a bigger space to play and a new transformer. Poor Amiga. And that's it for this review. So if you like what you saw, then crush that like button, click the links on screen now for more content, or click the XO logo to subscribe if you wanna. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace!